Welcome back to 3D with Blender. In this tutorial, we're going to learn about the basic object manipulations, selecting, grabbing and moving, rotating and scaling and deleting. So the first thing is grabbing and moving. The selected item will have these red, green, and blue arrows associated with them. If you just click with the left mouse button on one of the arrowheads, you can drag the object in that direction, let go, and the object will stay where you put it. If you want to undo anything that you've done in Blender, you can hold down the Control key and tap the Z key, and it will undo the last command that you've done. So in this case, I've done an undo on that move. Now sometimes when you move things, you want to be a little more precise. You want to snap things to a grid. If when I'm doing my move operation, I hold down the Control key and do the drag, the object will snap to grid positions. Along the way, it won't move smoothly. This helps me align things very precisely. If I also hold down the Shift key, it will snap to much smaller grid increments. That's Shift and Control, small increments, just Control, medium increments. Let go, and it stays there. Now, sometimes we want to change the orientation of an object, how it's rotated. And for that, we type the R key. By default, when we tap R, it rotates the object about the direction we're looking at it. Now, if I didn't want that, I can tap the Escape key to cancel the current operation. I can also do a rotation, and instead of rotating about the view direction, I can rotate about one of the cardinal axes. So for instance, if I want to rotate about the x-axis, once I've typed R for rotate, I can tap the X key, and now my rotations are constrained to be about the x-axis. If I find that wasn't what I wanted, what I really wanted was the y-axis, I can tap Y, and now my rotations are about the y-axis. Or if I tap Z, now my rotations are about the z-axis. When I've got the rotation I want, I can just click, and it will stay there. I can also do this with numbers. So I'm going to do Control Z to reset my cube. And now I'm going to type R, and I'm going to rotate it 20 degrees about the z-axis. So I'm going to tap Z and then 20 and then press enter. And now I've gotten an exact 20-degree rotation of the cube about the z-axis. I'm going to Control Z this again to put my cube back in the middle. The next thing I want to learn is how to change the size of an object. I can roll the scroll wheel in and out, and the object gets bigger and smaller in the display, but that's just because my camera is closer or further away. The object isn't any bigger. If I tap the S key and then move my mouse around, it will scale the object. And just like with the rotation or move, if I hold down Control, it scales by increments. If I don't hold the Control key down, it's free scaling. And just like I showed you with the rotation, I can constrain the scale to be only in one axis. So if I only want it to get bigger and smaller in the X direction, I can tap the X key, and now it only gets bigger and smaller in the X direction. The amount is the distance away from the center of the object at the time that I pressed the scale key or the rotate key or whatever. And then I click, and it stays that size. Now I can scale again, and this time I'm going to scale in the Z direction and make it thin. Now if I wanted to make it thinner, I would have to move my cursor away so that it's still in the 3D window but not right on top of the object. Now I could type S, Z, and get even closer to make it even thinner. The final key I want you to know about is the X key for delete. Either the delete key on your keyboard or the X key will delete an object. It will ask if you want to confirm it. Then you click on the delete word here in the menu and the object will go away. Finally, if I want to select a new object, I click on it with the right mouse button and Blender will highlight that object in orange. If I tap Control Z a few times, it changes the selection back, and if I keep tapping Control Z, my cube will come back to where it was when I started. So the lessons for this time are: right clicking is selecting, S is scale, R is rotate, escape is stop the current operation, and you can grab these little handles to move along the axes to move an object where you want. Thanks for watching. See you next time.